So this is our log burner. It's a 9 kilowatt multi-fuel, which actually means it's not just burning logs, it can burn coal as well. 9 kilowatts is more than enough heat than you'd need in a room this size. You probably need 2 to 3 kilowatts in this size of room. So this log burner has a back boiler, and the back boiler in theory takes away 6 kilowatts of heat. It takes it up pipes to a thermal store that is in the loft directly above this, just to the left of the flue in the loft. That's deliberate so that the pipe work coming out of the back of the stove goes up behind this false wall. This is a false fire retardant wall we have here, and the pipe work gently bends and bends again to meet the thermal store. That means that this system will work without electricity, in other words, in a power cut. That's really useful with a log burner because technically it's what's called uncontrolled heat. You can fill this up and light it and accidentally go out and leave it on full blast, and there'll be no controls to turn it down or safety valves or anything. I've seen these installed where people rely on electricity to pump the water away from a back boiler, and that can, if they don't turn the power on, which some of them were relying on switching on, or if they have a power cut, then the heat is collected in the stove, gets too hot, the water boils, and it can actually blow the plumbing out the back of the stove. So we're going to light this now. This is how I like to do it. Roughly screwing up probably about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sheets of newspaper. Screw one end, leave one end loose. That means it catches light easily, but then takes a bit longer to burn when it gets to that bottom end. Next we put in some cardboard. This is a good chance to get rid of all the packaging that gets delivered to the house, including, what have we got here? Biscuit packets, those, and then some light bits of wood. So I have here some broken up bits of shelving, some nice dry wood, 3 or 4 of them, and then I'm going to put 1 or 2 small logs in. That's the ideal size. A bit of bark will catch the light easily. This one's been eaten by woodworms, so that's all fluffy and not much calorific heat in that, but that should catch light nice and easily. So hopefully one match, and set fire to the paper. What happens here is, what needs to happen is we need to send heat quite quickly up the flue, because and that'll create a draw. We've had it in the winter when the flue is cold and there's not enough heat to get the flame, the smoke up the flue. Gets halfway up, gets cold, starts coming back down, and you get smoke billowing into the room. When that happens, I tend to just add another piece of paper loose. We've got a bit of it here, a bit of smoke coming through, and lay it on top of the pile. That will send the heat up. Shut the door, open the bottom vents, open the top vents. This is a wood warm stove. It's got fantastic controls and a really adjustable heat source when it gets going. So I leave that for about 15 minutes. This is our control system for our solar thermal, but what it does do also is tell me the temperature in there. It'll focus in a minute on the at the top of the tank, which is the S3, and is 35 degrees C at the moment. It also is telling me the bottom of the tank is 35 degrees C. So we've got the kindling burning nicely, a couple of logs have lit. I don't need to put any more air in, so I'm going to cut that. They can stay shut now for the duration, and we'll control the temperature with this one control here. On the wood warms, they're very nicely designed, they're very efficient. What they're doing is taking air in, and the air flows around a cavity in here, and then eventually across the roof, so the air is getting preheated from the heat in the log burner before it's fed in to the burning the box itself, the firebox itself. This also means we're burning down with oxygen coming down rather than up. This makes a more efficient gasification burn. We probably only empty the ash box in this if we're using it every day, only once a month. So you can tell it's drawing nicely, there's no smoke coming into the room, and now I'm going to fill it up. I've got quite a mismatch of wood. It's getting to the end of my year now, so I'm getting to the bottom of my wood pile. I've got a bit of pine, and what I'm doing now is trying to fill it up every space. The way to think about this is it's a boiler. It's not a. I'm trying to get it to do a job today. We do just use it for effect sometimes, but I'm trying to heat some water, so I'm trying to get as much wood in here as possible. Right, if you can see what's happening here, the flames are trying to burn up, but the oxygen's coming down. So this log in the middle here in particular is burning from the top down, and you can see how it's forcing air, well, dragging air into itself. That air is coming across the screen and is actually starting to clear the glass. The temperature now, this is over 100 degrees C. Really going well now. This is probably 15 minutes from when I lit it, so not that long. 175 degrees C. Log burners can get excessively hot, and we're reaching temperatures now of getting on to nearly 200 degrees C here. So now we can shut off the oxygen. This is all getting very hot now, so I'm going to use this tool. This literally restricts the air going to the fire. I can shut it right down. What I'm doing by that, I'm going to leave a little gap. What I'm doing by doing that is, as you can see now, restricting the oxygen. The flames are starting to dance, and the heat will go up. As I'm stopping the heat from going up the flue, the heat stays in the metalwork of the stove. We're very close to 200 degrees C here. You can start to see the grill at the front of the stove starting to go red. That's a hefty bit of iron, and it's getting red hot. About 20-25 minutes in, and we are at 220 degrees C. So half an hour from lighting the fire, we now have the basic charcoal just cooking nicely in there. There's a lot of heat in the room. So here we have it, about 35-40 minutes in. We're up to 220 degrees here on the stove, so that's plenty hot enough. I'm going to have to undress soon. The dog's liking it, it's ideal for the dog. So it was about 40 minutes ago we lit the fire. The temperature, the top and the bottom tank were both 35 degrees. We now have 39 at the bottom and 47 at the top. So we've gained more than 10 degrees at the top of the tank, That will give us plenty of hot water for showers tonight. If it's a cool night, we can pump the water around the radiators and heat them too. So 3.5 hours later, and the fire is still full of charcoal. It's still warm. The dog's gone, but the cat's come in his place. That cat actually scared the dog away. And I'm just going to open up the air vent and see what happens to the fire. Letting oxygen in now, so we're getting flames. And that's what's so good about these stoves, is the control of the fire.